that good? Everyone can see? Yeah. Okay, so just a quick welcome. So my name is Carol O'Leary. I'm the Student Inc. Program Manager. I'm based in MTU, and I suppose Student Inc. has been my baby since about 2013, and it's grown over the years. So the first year we ran it, we had 3 students in Cork, and now it's grown to a potential 75 or 80 students for the summer ahead. Okay, so um, there's a little bit of history there that we can talk about. And I suppose this year as well, we're trialing a sub brand. So can you mute yourselves, please? Okay. So this year we're trialing a sub brand called Creative Student Inc., and that will be led out of our partners in IADT. So over the years, we would have had maybe some couple of creative projects on Student Inc., but there are a little bit of, about 80% of the training will be the same, but there are different elements to creative type projects and creative type businesses. So we're trialing a sub-brand this year with Creative Student Inc. Okay. We want to thank our funders, the HEA, so they've provided funding across the partnership for this year, and we're very grateful for that. And we have a number of the partners who will be leading in their own institutions here as well today. So Grania and Shane will be working with me in MTU. We have Ashling in SCTU. I think I saw Ivan joined from ATU, and Gert is here from UL. And I can't see anyone else on the screen, so apologies, whoever I'm missing, okay? So this is Student Inc. These are just some photos, I suppose, you know, like I said, we've been doing it a while, and it is a bit of fun, it is a bit of hard work, but it is fun. So these are just some of the photos. So what is it? So we have it on all our stuff gone out, but just to recap, so it's Ireland's longest running student accelerator program. We've put over 300 students through the program. It's a full-time summer program, and I'll go into more detail in that later. I suppose the beauty of Student Inc. is that it's open to all students. Okay, so regardless of what you're studying or what year of study you're in, it's applicable to everybody, and that goes from first year up to PhDs. We have a website, and we also have a contact email for further details. Okay, so the core aims of Student Inc. So I suppose in an ideal world, you'll all start a business afterwards, but we know that's not always the case. Okay, so I suppose great if new startups come out of it, but I suppose what's really as important for us is that we're instilling an entrepreneurial mindset in the students. And I suppose the skills that you learn during the year you will use forever and ever for the rest of your career. And as well, some students will take up full-time employment, but the skills they learn, they might spot an opportunity in wherever they end up working, and they might come back then with an idea when they have more real life work experience under their belt. Like we said, it's great if we see the increase in the number of graduate startups. So I'll cover it in a little later on. It's a gateway into other entrepreneurial programs. So in all of your home institutions, there's a New Frontiers program, and a lot of the students come off Student Inc. if they're final year students, and they go on to New Frontiers. Okay, so it's a gateway into these other programs. And then I suppose in terms of regional development, you will be anyone on the program will be connected into the wider ecosystem. The LEOs, Enterprise Ireland, and the entrepreneurship hubs around the regions are all involved in this program. And I suppose for regional development as well, the more startups come out of the region. Okay, so what do the students receive? So stipend over the summer, and I'll talk a little bit about that. There's training, chalk and talk, and mentoring. You get office space on the on-campus incubator, which is surrounded with an ecosystem of experienced entrepreneurs. Okay, so So here we're based in the Rubicon in Cork on the Bishopstown campus. So when the students start Student Inc., they're no longer students when they come in, they're treated as entrepreneurs. They take coffee, they take their lunch break surrounded by the entrepreneurs based in the centre. You know, and you can have a cup of coffee. You could learn an awful lot over a cup of coffee with an entrepreneur that's been there, done that. So you would be immersed in that ecosystem once you're on the program. We try to um, uh, connect you guys into technical assistance where you need it. So again, the beauty of the partnership is I don't think there's any area that one of the partners, you know that there isn't an expertise between one of the partners, and we'll try to link you in with that technical expertise. Towards the end of the program, there's an opportunity to pitch to investors, peer support. So you guys, whoever's on the program, they support each other, not only in your own university, but across the network as well. And just a point to note that we don't take any equity in your business. Okay. So whatever you develop is 100% yours at the end of the summer. Just going to cover the last few years. So I mentioned that the HEA are funding the 2025 program. They also funded the 2023 program. And we had a number of partners. So we had UCC, MTU, Mary I, UL, TUS, ATU. Okay, and we're also joined by students from an international college based outside Massachusetts, who run a student competition, and part of their prizes they come over to partake in Student Inc. Okay, so that was the partnership in 2023. Just to give you a breakdown on so 26% females and 4% male. Usually it's a little bit more matched than that. The bar chart is showing you the different years, so first, second, third, fourth, and PhD or masters. We had 8 teams and we had 26 solo entrepreneurs. The students came from 22 different courses, so a real melting pot of ideas between the group. And then in terms of business and humanities and science engineering, 45%, 55% split. So a real mix of ideas and students there. So that was 2023. Then in 2024, unfortunately, we had no funding. So it only ran in MTU last year, and we had 14 MTU students and the 2 international students. There was 4 multidisciplinary teams and 8 solo entrepreneurs. And again, there was a mix of first years up to masters on the program, but it was only in MTU. And now we'll roll forward to this summer, and this is why you guys are all here. We expanded the partnership, so we had our original partners, and we're delighted that DKIT, IADT, and SETU have come on board as well this year. So across the partnership, we have funding for 75 students. And I suppose the beauty of it is and plus, okay, so we have the universities, but we have all the incubation centres as well. And there's an agreement between the partnership that, say, for example, you have a student who's attending university in Galway, but they're originally from, say, Limerick. Well, they can attend the incubator in Limerick. Okay, so there's an opportunity for you to attend any of the incubators in any of the partners. Okay, so you have real choice, and it's not a summer camp where you can do a tour of the country. You pick one and you stay there. Okay, so and then I suppose when you're in the incubator, like you'll have the other students on the program, but as well you'll have the support of the people in the incubator and the entrepreneurs based there. Okay, so you're not thrown into a room and say, here, go on away and work on your business. You're part of the ecosystem within the incubator. In terms of a timeline, just to give you a broad outline. So I suppose the application deadline is the 31st of March. Depending on the number of applications, we will try to interview everyone. So even if you don't get a place in the program, we might give you some feedback. Now, there's no guarantee if we get 400 applications, there may not be the opportunity to do that, but we will do our best, okay? Then we'll run the interviews mid-April, and we'll try to let you know as soon as possible if you have a place or not for the summer. So I suppose the idea of that is that you'll know what your plan is for the summer. You'll know you'll have full-time work to do for the summer, rather than looking for a part-time job or going on a J1 or whatever. The program officially kicks off on the 26th of May. And then there's a number of reviews. So the €4,000 is not paid in a lump sum. So if there's a review after the first month of the program. There will be whoever interviewed you, plus maybe a local enterprise office person. Maybe that's not guaranteed. They'll see where you've come in the month and just what your plans are for the next month. And I suppose if you're participating in the program, you're attending the training, you're making progress, then that first tranche of the €4,000 is released to you. Okay, so it's split over 3 payments over the summer. So it's €1,333 is paid into your bank account after the first month. And that funding, because I know I got a couple of queries on this, that funding is for you to do whatever you want with. You don't need to plow that into the business. You don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need to spend it on prototype development. It really is to pay you for working on your business for the summer. Okay. Then there's a review after month 2, towards the end of July, and that's the same thing. Another tranche of funding is released after that. And then there's a showcase, we'll organize it centrally on the 22nd of August. And at that, then you'll meet all the other students, all the other partners involved. And then we usually ask the local enterprise offices around the country, Enterprise Ireland, and other business stakeholders as well will attend that usually. Okay. And that's usually absolutely fabulous day. And you'll get to pitch for some prizes as well that day. In terms of program delivery, it'll be hybrid. So the content will be delivered online in the main, okay? But it will be delivered to the team of you guys in person in the incubator. So say for the MTU students here, they'll come into the incubator either here or in Kerry as a team, and they'll dial into the training as a team from the incubator. We're currently working on the training program, but it'll be a mixture of live webinars, recorded webinars. There'll be smaller groups for mentoring and possibly grouped in clusters. So for example, if we have food products in different locations around the country, then we will group you together for mentoring just for the food products, okay, and other areas like that as well. Peer-to-peer learning is a very important aspect of the program where you're learning from each other. So someone throws something out on the table and the other students will give you feedback and guidance as to what they think. And then lunch and learns are also a big feature of it, whereby we bring back seasoned entrepreneurs and they tell their story, what worked, what didn't work, etc., etc. In terms of the program delivery content-wise, and this is very broad, okay, so weeks 1 to 7, we term this as customer discovery. So this is where you're out talking to potential customers. You don't tell them what your solution is. You find out from them what problems they have, and if you hear people repeatedly saying, that they have a certain problem, and in your head you're going, well, my solution addresses that. That's what you want to hear. Okay. At this stage, a lot of students will actually pivot and they'll go, there's actually no demand for what I'm suggesting, but what I keep hearing is something totally different. Okay. So that involves you going out, talking to people you know, but more importantly, people you don't know. And as well, the network that you have within the rest of the student population will actually be very fruitful for you in terms of getting contacts of people to talk to. Week 2, you're working on your value proposition. Week 4, it's all about entrepreneurial thinking. There's market research and marketing, selling, finance, and then towards the end, there's the pitching. And then there's the other skills as well, like project management, presentation skills, legal, etc., etc. So it's a pretty busy 13 weeks. You won't have a scheduled training or mentoring session every day, but even if you don't have a session, you're still in the incubator working away in your business and implementing the things that you learn. And I suppose it's different to, your life as a student in the university. You're not working on abstract things, you're working on your business. So when you're talking about value proposition, it's your value proposition that you're working on, not something that has nothing to do with what you're doing. In terms of participants, who is it? Who's it for, right? So it's for any student from one of the participating universities. So again, doesn't matter what year you are, it doesn't matter what course you're doing, it's applicable to everybody. And I suppose we're really looking for people who really, really want to do something with their idea or product or their service. Okay. We're looking for people who are willing to step outside their comfort zone, for people who are willing to listen and take advice on board and willing to help the other participants in their own group and beyond. Okay, so that's who we're looking for. Um, I suppose the requirements, you have to have an idea or an existing business that you're trying to grow. So it can't be something, oh, I was lying in bed last night and I thought of this. Okay, this is something, that maybe you've done it as part of a module in your course, or maybe you're doing a little something on the side. You have to have something coming into the program. You have to attend full time in the incubator Monday to Friday for the duration of the program. I suppose again we cover this for those who get on the program to be mindful of where you are for the summer. So like you'll be surrounded by the other entrepreneurs, but they're paying to be there. You guys aren't, okay? So we're there as a result of the incubator center managers giving us space, which is great. And I suppose as well, if someone makes introductions to you or gives you leads, it's very important that you follow those up. And then I suppose who the program is not for, okay? Someone who's only interested in the 4,000, okay? Yes, it helps, but it shouldn't be your only motivation for coming on the program. We're not looking for people who are interested in an easy summer. We don't want anyone who's not willing to talk to potential customers or strangers. Okay, so we push you really hard at the start of the program to go out and talk to potential customers. Okay, and we won't just send you out without, we don't say go out and talk to that person there about this. You'll get training on how to approach them, what questions to ask, and all of that. Okay, but you have to be willing to do that. Okay, and that's not an easy thing to do, but cancel that. Oh, my screen is gone. Can you not see it? Okay, I'm just going to stop sharing for a sec and go back in.
I can see
sharing.
it.
Oh, go on, you can see it. Could everybody else see it? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I could see it too.
Okay, thanks, Aisling. I was like, who am I talking to? Okay, 2 seconds. Are we good again? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so like I said, you have to be willing to go out. And again, as I said, it's not easy for everyone. I hate going out, but we have to push you. And I suppose someone who doesn't listen. So we always look when we're interviewing people, are these students coachable in terms of will they take on board what you say and try it, or are they just, gung ho on what they're doing? So that's that. And then the last one, those that are not willing to commit full time, because it is a full time commitment, and it makes your summer and our summer much better if people are just showing up. We're not chasing them, where are you, and all of that. It is a full time commitment, and I suppose we get people to sign up at the start to say that they're willing to commit full time. And then I suppose 2024, we had a really good year in terms of 3 of the businesses proceeded straight on to New Frontiers phase 2. And they're currently receiving additional supports and mentorship to bring their ideas to the next level, which is funded by Enterprise Ireland. And I suppose I know I keep talking about being in the incubator, but last year, like that, we forced the students to come in and spend their summer in the incubator, and then the results were that more of them went on to New Frontiers. That was the highest number from any cohort that went through. And then over the years, we've seen other students, they might leave for a year and then go on to New Frontiers. I think the year before, around when we had the 5 or 6 partners, we had 7 or 8 students went on to New Frontiers all around the country. So yeah, so that's great. I'm just going to leave these up for a couple of seconds. These were testimonials from students. I'm not going to read them. And like I said, we'll share the slides and you can go through them yourselves. Okay. Student Inc. Okay. The one about the incubator, the trainers. And then I suppose just a couple of case studies. So Wendy Oakey, she used a project that as part of a course that she was doing, and then she came on Student Inc. to further develop it and went on to New Frontiers. So Teach Cloud transformed the and she was an early childhood studies student. So she's transformed that industry because she's moved it from a paper-based to an online system. So that was Wendy and Teach Cloud. Stephen from Spera. So Stephen came onto the program with Stephen was a culinary arts student, and he came on the program to work on his food business. Went through Student Inc. and at the end he realized he needed 1.2 million to be able to start it. So he started again, and he's now the owner of 2 tech companies employing about 12 people. But what he learned on Student Inc. for the food business, he used for the new businesses. And then we ask students, what type of skills did you get for taking part in the program? And if you remember, over half of them were not business students, so they were science and engineering. So a lot of this stuff, is not covered in their normal course. And those skills are very important regardless of where you end up after Student Inc. And then I suppose stay up to date, visit our website. The deadline to apply is 31st of March. And we have an info at studentinc.ie, or you can go through the website. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Right, who's first for a question? Any of the partners actually want to add anything? I know Ivan is there, and I know Gert is traveling, but anything I didn't cover because you've been involved in the program before?
No, I think you covered. It's Gillian here. Hi, Carl.
Oh, sorry, Gillian. I
No,
couldn't
you're
see who
grand.
was joining or not.
No, I think you covered everything really well. And I think in particular as well, the peer-to-peer, you were talking about being in the incubation center and what people learn from each other and the mentors and the community, um, can't be underestimated really. Like it can really help you develop your network and your skills and your ideas. So no, I think you covered everything. And I think like Gert said as well in the chat, any help that anybody needs, the teams in each organization are there to help if you have any queries on the application forms or anything.
Yeah, thanks, Gillian.
Hi, Carol. This is Trish here from Mary I.
Oh, hi, Trish.
How are you?
Good.
Just to say, I think you outlined it already. Obviously, Mary I doesn't have an incubation hub or an innovation space. So just to let, I suppose, any of our students know that are on the call that that they can avail of space in any of the other project partners depending on their location for the summer. So, for example, our past participant was out in Nexus with Gert and Briga there. So I just kind of want to say that to any MIC students on the call.
Thanks for that, Trish. There's a question in here. Have any former IADT film students got involved in the program? Not to date, Evan, but like I said, IADT are a partner for the first time ever. They have funding for 10 students, and there's going to be additional training for anyone in the creative sector. And that's not just for the students in IADT. That will be open to any of the students. There's a question here. Is this program for international master students? If you need a registration number. So if you're registered with one of the partners, yes, it's applicable once you're based in the incubator for the summer. Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, Tomas, go ahead.
Hi, Carol. I was just wondering, I'd be looking to work as a partner in the business idea with another student, and
Sure.
we're both from Mary I suppose my first question is, I think you already answered this now, but it would be available to do in Tralee IT, would it? That's one of the parts.
No, not Tralee IT, MTU Kerry.
MTU, sorry.
Shame on you. All our rebranding.
Stuck in those
Yes.
ways. And secondly, I suppose what the likelihood of both of us getting into the program would be. would that, as in, would it be difficult for both of us to go into the program, or would it be relatively easy?
No, so like you'll have seen from the presentation, we've had solo entrepreneurs and teams, so
Yeah,
it's open.
yeah.
The only thing, Tomas, is that there's only one €4,000 per project.
Yeah.
So if you're coming in on the same project, you
You're
guys have
splitting,
to have to divvy it up.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
perfect. Thank you.
but we welcome teams, yeah, and we'd love to have you down in Kerry. Is that right,
Perfect.
Grania?
Absolutely. I'm waiting. I'm ready and waiting.
So Gert is saying here, it's a great addition to your CV to say you interviewed for the program, and even better if selected.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was another question I think you missed up there. Just if your home institution's New Frontiers Phase 2 runs during the Student Inc. program, can you participate in another campus's Phase 2, for example, TU Dublin, which starts in September?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's down to the New Frontiers is about where you're located. So the New Frontiers will accept them, I think, once they're in that. So if they're living in Dublin, or they've, isn't that Grace, Carol? So if they were trying to apply.
Yeah, like if you're on New Frontiers, chances are, you're getting paid a stipend as well on New Frontiers Phase 2. So you're unlikely, like if that's September, you're finished Student Inc. anyway, and it doesn't clash. But if you are going for New Frontiers as well, the idea really being with Student Inc. is try and get as much heavy work done during the summer so that you can really get the best out of the 6 months for New Frontiers. It goes very, very quickly, and you really want to build on the momentum. So it would be really great to get Student Inc. and go straight into New Frontiers if you got lucky enough to be able to do that. But be hard work and all the rest, but it'd be great momentum. You get a lot done in that time, you know.
Yeah. Some people have actually used it as a kind of pathway. Well, you know, they've
Yeah,
kind of
it's great
used it
'cause
to really, they kind of sense checks that. So by the time they got to New Frontiers, they had a very strong proposition. So they were in a good place.
And
That's
and
it.
I'm
And
not
I would say to people as well, don't look at this as kind of some sort of, academic program. It is real development on your business. You're working with, consultants, entrepreneurs. It is, I suppose it's not a project where you're getting 80% in your grant. You really have to kind of, work really, really hard. You learn a lot about yourself as well during the time. So regardless of the outcome, or the output, say in terms of a venture, you yourself will really go in the stretch zone, and it'll be hugely valuable regardless,
Yeah, and I'm not aware of any New Frontiers that runs over the summer. So I know maybe I'm wrong, but
we do interviews in August and that, and in
yeah.
September, but we don't start then until we've only got our Phase 3 running.
Yeah. And I know from here, like
Phase
the
1
new
as well.
the team from New Frontiers are involved in the program, so they're very much familiar with who's coming through, and for them, they see it as a pipeline for their programs. So they're only too happy to help out and makes their life a bit easier.
You can participate in a Phase 1 of New Frontiers as well. Say for example, ours is on the evening times, and we have a boot camp during the summer over a weekend. They won't clash with Student Inc. But just if you wanted to get a better sense of New Frontiers and meet the team and broaden your network, and if you had the time, it's a different time to Student Inc. It might be heavy for you to do that, but you're not excluded. You can take on both if you're willing to put that extra work in.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone got any other questions?
You did a brilliant job, Carol.
We've recorded it as well for the people that missed it, but anyway.
No, it's brilliant.
Camilla,
I would like to add something because I've seen a lot of IDT students here, which I'm super happy about. Maybe sometimes for us, for the creatives, kind of the vocabulary, it's different. So like every creative project, it could be, and it actually is a business idea. So because I've seen some questions like, it's my record album can be here, my film can be here, yes. And actually what you will be doing here, it's kind of to connect this other part of like, how do I make my creative project a business idea? So all of these projects, we're actually super excited to just come up with these creative projects, because we will translate this to like a more of a business language, which is super important for creatives, especially for the ones who wants to be freelancers or like want to jump into a new company. I think all of the projects will be welcome.
Yeah.
I was going to second everything Camilla said there too. Sorry. I'm Caitlin. So I'm
hi, Caitlin.
doing the creative. Sorry, I was a bit late.
No, you're fine.
Doing the creative translation, we'll say. So have done the business for, just to reassure folks on the creative projects or who maybe feel unsure, done both sides, and happy to translate the information and really looking forward to helping everybody figure out how to not fulfill the starving artist myth with their creative endeavors.
And I know I mentioned about, you know, you be in the incubator with the other students, like the bond that they form with each other, like you have friends for life. And I'll just give an example of this summer in MTU, we had the 2 American students were over, and there a couple of weeks ago, 3 of the Irish students went over and surprised them in Boston as a surprise visit. They've just remained friends. You know, they're friends for life. It's like you're on a journey together with these people. And you know, it's like I said, it's not an easy summer, but it's very rewarding at the end when you go through it. But you do make friends for life, and you get skills for life, and hopefully you'll have a business for life as well out of it.
Yeah, because I suppose they are working collaboratively as well, you know, especially with the peer-to-peer reviews, and you know, there's a lot of engagement that way and interaction. So
yeah,
it's great.
And it's exciting this year as well with the creative side, because I suppose we've all have experience in creative business programs and that. So, but we think the fact that there'll be kind of interdisciplinary, like there'll be creatives, there'll be engineers, there'll be business, there'll be all kinds of people floating around the incubation centres and online, and that it'll really add add value to each other's projects. So looking forward to seeing, you know, how that augments kind of the innovation throughout the summer. That'll be really exciting to see that as well.
Okay.
I just have a question.
Hello, yeah, Ola, go ahead.
So does it have to be an innovative project? Like if my project is something basic, like let's say a coffee shop, would that not be supported by the Student Inc?
You'd have to be a little bit different, Ola. So what would be different about your coffee shop than what's already out there?
It will be part of a certain culture or region, like it's something. It's not your normal Irish coffee shop.
Okay. Yeah,
it will have teas from abroad and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it has to, like, it's not your ordinary run of the mill. It's different, you know. So yeah, I would say.
But at the end of the day, it is a coffee shop.
Yeah, but it's coffee shop with a twist, you know.
Yeah, and like we've had, like say for example, on New Frontiers and earlier programs, Leap, say a Tipperary Enterprise winner was a guy who started with a coffee shop and then developed his own coffee and then became a supplier, but then reverted back to having quite a number of different coffee shops around the place. But he was real innovative in his strategic approach, his branding, and his own products and all the rest. So I suppose this program is to help you think, how would you compete? How would you, so many coffee shops, for example, or restaurants, or some sectors find it really hard. They don't stay around very long and the lifespan is quite short. So the idea really with Student Inc. then is we get you to look at that landscape, think about, well, how can I be an outlier? How can I be the coffee shop or the restaurant or the, you know, the hotel or whatever it might be in the hospitality sector as an example, that can be different to the norm, that can be the outlier. So when you're pitching an idea, you just need to think about, be creative in that approach, and then the program will help you with the rest.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. We didn't have a huge drop off on the numbers, so it looks like we didn't turn you all off applying for the program for the summer. So look, I suppose we'll hopefully see all the applications come in. And like I said, we'll try and interview everyone or give people feedback, something anyway, if you're not called for interview. But yeah, And look, like I said, it'll be a great summer if you get on the program. And I'd look forward to working with everyone. Yeah. Okay. Thanks a million, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.